What's going on, Bauds? Welcome back to the Baud Fawk Sports Podcast. Once again, I am Justin here with my co-host Tarren.
What is going on, Bauds? We're
And
excited to drop this episode.
yeah, you know what, man? We got to get right back into it now for the Bauds and the community. So talking about the Premier League once again, I think sadly we got to start off with Manchester City, who dominated Leicester City 6-3. You know, we have been talking about City's dominance in December for the last couple of episodes now, and it's just only getting like worse and worse. And I hate to see it because obviously, big Manchester United fan, but it was just another dominating display from City there.
Yeah, well, they went up 4-0 in the first 30 minutes, so it was looking like an absolute blowout. Credit to Leicester for making at least a bit of a comeback. Getting three, didn't end up 6-3, so not the best comeback in the world. You still got destroyed by 3, let in 6 goals. But yeah, at least they didn't just give up and let City, because we've seen teams where they're perfectly happy to just not go for it and sit back and just take a 1-0 loss against City or 2-0 loss. They push for it, so some credit there. But at the end of the day, you still did let in 6 goals, so not a great performance. But again, it just comes down to while I do think the team is underperforming right now, but I just don't think Brendan Rodgers is a great manager. I think that's pretty evident now. I think most people should know that he's just not that great of a manager. He's not that great of a coach.
Yeah, we have talked about him in the past. And I feel like, just based even on the back end of last year too, and what's happened this year, I feel like, maybe his little magical little run, whatever you want to call it, I feel like it's coming to an end. And like a 6-3 result, that's not good at all against any team really. I don't even care that it's City, like Leicester City dropping the points and another 3 points they've dropped, conceding 6. So it's when's it going to change? So I think that at the end of the season they got to move on from Brendan Rodgers for sure.
Yeah, I mean, with the way things are looking, I don't know how many people are interested in the job. I know Frank Lampard said he would love something like Leicester. And they have good players, man. They brought in some good young talent, Samare and Daka, just some good young players. They've always been good at finding young talent. Tielemans, I think, is probably one of the best midfielders in the league.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree that he's, a very talented player. Always plays good against Chelsea, so that's kind of annoying. But but he's really, really good. They have some really good players. Soyuncu is good. I know Fofana is out with injury. I think that might be why they're having some trouble defensively, because I think I just saw them playing against Liverpool yesterday, and they were playing Marty and Ndidi at the back. So you can tell that they're struggling right now at the back. They definitely could use Fofana, because we saw last season he was, one of the best defenders in the league, and he's so young. So they definitely need some defense, but they have a good squad. They can do something.
Yeah, on the defensive note though, the goal difference, is -2. I mean, granted, they did just, concede, I guess, 3 towards that goal difference, but still, it's that's not good at all. And Fofana is definitely a big miss, because last season, like you just said, he was one of the better defenders in the league, such a young talent. And then that horrible, I think he broke his leg, right? Or broke his foot. That's such a horrible injury to have. So, I mean, the good thing for him is that it happened at the start of the season, or before in the preseason, whatever it was. So at least he could come back at the start of the next year. But yeah, man, maybe by the time he comes back, it'll be, it'll look a bit different at Leicester. I do think I don't want to say they got to get rid of Deadwood, but I definitely think that maybe I could see some players leaving that are still there, and I feel like a new manager will want to kind of clean house, if you will, and then bring in some more players and his own type of players. So it'll definitely be interesting to see, because I do think they still have a chance to be in the European spots, really and truly. They could finish top. I think it's top 7 now at the Conference League. They should be finishing in the top 7, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, they should definitely be in Europe next year. They have the squad to do it. I do think maybe this January transfer window, like you said, get rid of some Deadwood, and I think bring a defender, bring in a solid defender that you can rely on, because they're having a lot of injury issues, and now with COVID on his way back, and so many games are postponed and so many players are out. We've seen a lot of teams struggle. So, and if you're not a deep squad, which they're not a very deep team, they don't have a lot of great rotation to rely on. So, if you're not a deep squad, like this could definitely ruin you. It's even ruining deep squads right now. So I can understand why they're struggling a bit, and they've been struggling this whole season. But you know, who do you think maybe they should look to sell or buy in this January transfer window?
I mean, this was a player that I was going to bring up later on, but I definitely think someone who all of like the mid to high table club should be after right now is James Tarkowski from Burnley. I think he's a solid player, and I feel like, I just hate Burnley. So I think that Leicester, I feel like he fits Leicester's build. He's an English lad, that's a nice team in Leicester, and he'll fit alongside Soyuncu right now because Fofana is not there. I think he'll really help the defense, and he's a Premier League proven player. Like he's been pretty solid and consistent, on that weak team. So I feel like Tarkowski should be a player that they go after.
Yeah, for sure. He's always been a solid player. Even if you didn't go for him, you go for his partner Ben Mee. He's also like a solid defender. So Burnley have always been like a defensive team. So I think their strong suits are their defenders. So either of those guys, yeah, like that's a great shout. Obviously, a Premier League proven players is definitely something you would rather have than someone from another league. But we've seen Leicester, and the way they conduct business a lot of the time is they go to those obscure leagues and look for hidden gems, So I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in someone from a different league, maybe a center back from Ligue 1 or Uber Eats League, I guess. But yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. But yeah, I think Tarkowski is a really good shout. I would love to see them maybe go to the Serie A and look for some defenders there because the defenders in the Serie A, like I definitely think they don't get enough credit for how good they are. Obviously, the Premier League is a little more fast paced and aggressive than Serie A, but those guys know how to defend skilled players because they have to deal with a lot of skilled players. So I don't know, maybe go to AC Milan, see if you can pry away like a Romagnoli or something away from them, or maybe I know he kind of just went like for real, but if you can get like a Tomori is super good. I don't know if they'll have the money to pay for that, but I'm sure they have some money. They've been in Europe, so yeah, they definitely need something in defense, and I'm not sure who they should let go really. Anyone that you think that they really should get rid of soon?
I don't know about anyone in particular, but I think definitely in the summer, I should say, if they do get rid of Brendan Rodgers, I think that the new manager, just to really solidify some things, I think he should like revamp the team. And this doesn't come down to anyone in particular for being not good enough or whatever, but I just think it needs a refresh, and that starts with the manager. So with that being said, I would hope that for this team, a manager brings in like players he wants and gets rid of some players who might not be in favor anymore. But yeah, like we both did mention, though, they do have a pretty solid team all around. It just, they clearly don't have the right manager, I feel like, to really push them back up to Europe.
Yeah, especially like if they're trying to push for the top spots for Europe, because I think with the squad that they have and Brendan Rodgers, I think they can get like the Conference League, maybe even the Europa League. But with the squad that they have and Brendan Rodgers, they're not going to make a top 4 spot. Like that's just, it's not going to happen. Last year was their chance and they blew it. Like they literally had top 4 in the bag like the entire season, and then like the last week, like they played themselves out of it. So I think they had their chance for top 4. If they want to go back into that, they definitely got to make some changes. They got to bring in some top tier talents like Tielemans, like those kind of like level players are the only way you're going to get into top 4. And you need a quality manager, as we've seen. No offense to you, but we've seen Man United. It can't just be talent. You need someone to get them playing like a team. So I just think they need a new manager. That's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And we've seen Rodgers in the past blow it with Liverpool. So I'm not too surprised that his little magical run is fizzling out. But Leicester, I'm not gonna say that, oh, they should be winning the league like they did that one year, but definitely expectations have to be higher, and what they produce has to be better. So I definitely think that, yeah, Rodgers' time with the club has to be coming to an end.
Yeah, and I think maybe this January transfer window, or I guess maybe not like a super priority, but in the summer they should start looking for like a starting goalkeeper. Not that Schmeichel is bad. I think he's still genuinely one of the best goalkeepers in the league, but he's 35.
Yeah.
Like if you want to continue to be like a respected team, you're going to need a replacement because he has saved them in a lot of games.
Yeah.
And I think we could talk about the game yesterday, real quick. Yeah, Liverpool 0, Leicester 1. I was watching. It was such a great game. I definitely love to see Liverpool lose. Now we are tied with them on points. Um, but yeah, like Schmeichel saved them in that game. Like he was insane. Like he was all over the place. But yeah, he made some world class saves, stopped Mane quite a lot of times, and you could just see the frustration from Liverpool. Like they couldn't get past him. But that's just not going to last forever. So
Yeah, exactly.
bring in a young guy that Schmeichel can train, and look for your next big goalkeeper uh, sometime soon.
Yeah, do you have any names in mind who they could get?
Um, I think maybe Lafont is a show. He's young, he's big, he's very quick.
Yeah.
I think Lafont is a good show. What about you?
I would say, could be a big shout, but I would say that they should try and get Melier from Leeds. Like their keeper, I think he's like 21 or 20, something like that. I feel like he would be a good shout. And he's like, I'm pretty sure he's English too, right? Or is he not? I forget.
No, he's French.
Oh, sorry, he's French. My fault. Yeah. So, get a foreign goalkeeper in there, just like they have with Schmeichel. And I feel like, yeah, he's pretty certain. I don't know why I thought a dude named Melier was English, getting him mixed up with another guy there. But yeah, the French dude.
Yeah, so we're both suggesting French keepers.
Yeah.
One is in the Prem, so like he has some Premier League proven talent, and he's young and he actually looks really good. Like, he he tried to talk some trash to Jorginho when we played them, so that was kind of stupid because then Jorginho just smashed it away. Like twice he tried to talk trash to Jorginho. Like, dude, do you know who you're talking to? This is like almost Ballon d'Or winner Jorginho. Like, watch yourself. But but in all seriousness, I think that would be a great addition. Or Lafont. They just definitely need like a younger keeper to move on. But yeah, like that game was insane. I don't know if you saw it, but the Liverpool team looked very frustrated. It was definitely nice to watch. I was actually watching it with a Man U fan, so he was very happy to see them lose, as was I. But yeah, like I just think, I mean, what are your thoughts on this Liverpool team now? Like they've been kind of up and down in recent times. Some ties, and now a loss to Leicester, who have been struggling.
I mean, it's interesting, and I don't want to jump the gun and discredit him for all the work that he's done, but like, I don't want to say it, but do you think maybe Jurgen Klopp is out of his depth now? Because like there's a time where he was head to head with Pep, and then I feel like now Pep as a manager really like took off and got ahead of him, and now it's like losing a game to Leicester and him making all these excuses like, oh, the reason why we lost is because Leicester played 2 days ago and we didn't. like how can you say that after the game? Like I don't even know what that means in this case, but I mean, it is interesting because, similar to Man U that we have seen, you do need a coach. And I do think Jurgen like is obviously a top class coach, but like, his Premier League, like if in hindsight, if Tuchel wins the Premier League this year, then he's equaled Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool legacy in a year and a half. So like, that's kind of crazy to think about. So it's like, I'm not saying that they got to fire Klopp, but like maybe I don't want to say that it's coming down to him, but like when you have that team on paper, I feel like you should have an advantage every game. And I just don't get how you're losing these games and you're looking a bit shaky with that team in front of you.
Yeah, especially because like they have most of their first team. Like they're not really struggling with injuries right now.
Yeah.
And Jota has been looking like one of the best players in the Premier League. So he's been killing it. And Mane is way better than last year. Salah, as we know, is looking like,
Yeah.
player of the season. Uh, and so the fact that you have those front three playing at this high of a level and you can't put one away against Leicester is, yeah, it is a little worrying uh, if you're a Liverpool fan. But I do think like these games are just going to happen. You're
Yeah.
not going to win every game. Uh, and we know Jurgen Klopp, like he just makes weird excuses.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they played 2 days ago. Like, then they should probably be more tired, don't you think?
They played Manchester's like if they played Norwich, then like okay, whatever. They got a chance to play a game. They played Man City and lost
And got destroyed 6-3. So, yeah, it's terrible excuse for the loss, but
if anything, that's the advantage for Liverpool. I feel like they lost.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they should be tired after a kind of like a game like that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. I think Klopp, and we've seen it, with Dortmund. It's a great achievement. He won back to back. I forget what the title's called. So back to back Bundesliga titles, and then kind of fizzled out after there. But that's still a great achievement. But then Dortmund were kind of just not that team anymore. Then he left, and I'm gonna credit him because he did bring Liverpool up. Made some amazing signings like Mane, Salah, Van Dijk. He's transformed some players, but like maybe this is just a period where he's gonna fizzle out because like if they don't win the league again and they don't win Champions League, that's like just like another season where it's like, oh well, last year we gave him a pass, I guess, because of the injuries, but now with the whole team, he's just going trophyless again. And it's like, like I did mention, I mean, I hope United somehow win the league, but if Chelsea win the league, then Tuchel has equaled his legacy at Liverpool in a year and a half. And no discredit to Tuchel if he does that, but that's kind of crazy to think about that in a year and a half, Tuchel would have equaled Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool legacy, which is like what, 7 years now, 6, 7 years.
Yeah,
so it's crazy. That to me has to say something.
I think also to be fair to Jurgen Klopp, not really for the comparison to Chelsea, but just in general, like Leicester they don't invest as much as a team like Man City or Chelsea.
Yeah.
I know Chelsea had the year where they were transfer banned. So in recent memory, we haven't had the opportunities like Man City to go big. And so after the year that we were banned, we had that like huge spending. But even this January transfer window, I know we spent a lot on Lukaku, but that was it.
Yeah.
So obviously, we don't really compare to Man City, who will just splash cash like endlessly. But yeah, like at Liverpool, don't really get the investment. They do here and there, but we saw like literally this past summer transfer window, like they really did no business.
Yeah.
And they're not renewing some of their big guys, so you can tell that the owners are a little cheap, maybe more than a little. But I do think it isn't completely on Jurgen Klopp. Obviously, I do think maybe he has to adapt. But if you can't sign new players, I can't blame you for being a little stale or having these kind of moments when you're dealing with the same squad you did last year. You weren't able to bring in someone to replace Wijnaldum, and they clearly could use some rotation pieces on the bench because their squad just isn't that deep. If they get some injuries and some COVID stuff keeping people out, then they're definitely going to struggle. So I definitely think they need some investment to really compete, and that's why and they're still second. Like I'm not saying they're not contending,
Yeah.
but that's why we're seeing them struggle a little bit more. They didn't really have the investment that summer.
Yeah, and this is why like I just hate City because I feel like you have like 3 world-class players at every position. It feels like it's like, oh, someone's injured, I just bring this guy in. Oh, someone can't play, just bring him in. So that's so annoying to watch because it's like they don't have the same struggle that whether it's like United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Leicester, like all those teams have those struggles. Then there's City who would just be like, yeah, you know what, 50 million on this guy, he's going to be our 3rd string goalkeeper, but we need that depth right now. So yeah, it's so annoying to watch.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it. You either get with the program and spend an absolute fortune, or you don't win. Like that's just kind of how it goes right now. So definitely kind of annoying, but Yeah, so it doesn't fall all on Klopp, and I think after this season he has one more year left on his deal, so I don't think they're going to give him a lot to spend this summer either. To be honest, maybe a little bit, but they need to re-sign Salah. To be honest, like that needs to happen, and I think Henderson is running out of contract as well.
Yeah, because Hendo I think only signed a 1 year deal because he was gonna leave apparently because they
Mhm.
couldn't agree with the transfer in the summer, but then he just stayed on a 1 year. So they got to get him and Salah back for sure.
Yeah, so they got to do some things. I don't know what they're going to do this summer, but they need some investment. It's clear. To keep up with the likes of Man City, you need to keep putting money into your squad. You can't just buy a player and then stop for a couple of years. Like you need to keep going. So, for Liverpool fans' sakes, hopefully they can get some investment this summer. For the rest of us, I hope not.
Yeah, no, simple as no. But yeah, like I just think that the thing about Liverpool and maybe their fans too is that like 1 second they have the best team in the world, then the next second it's like, oh, we're so hard done by because we don't spend money. So like just with their fans, it's really inconsistent. But you are right though, like they don't have the same investment as City fan or as that City do. But yeah, like 1 second though, it's like, yo, this is the best Premier League team of all time. There's nothing that can beat us. And the next, it's like, oh man, COVID and injuries, man. Like it's not fair. It's like, oh, okay, my bad. Don't really know which one it is.
Yeah, they do flip flop a lot for sure. I've definitely heard they have the best team. I've heard they have the best team in Premier League history before.
Yeah.
I've genuinely heard Liverpool fans say that, which is like just blasphemous to me, honestly. Like, there are teams who have won the treble. You just don't compete. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, like I've heard they've had some all time teams, and then again I hear like, oh, like we need this and we need that. So like, which one is it? But uh, yeah, like we'll see what they can do. I don't know if they're gonna have a huge January transfer window. They don't seem like the kind of team that are gonna go crazy. Maybe a signing or two, but nothing that I think will like replace a starter
Yeah.
in the first team. And really, they don't really need someone to replace the starter right now because even like some of their lesser players are actually performing a lot. I know Robbo has been out a bit, so Tomiskas has been in. He's been looking pretty good. Matip is probably having his best season as a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
Um, so I think they'll be fine, but they do need some rotation.
Yeah, no, for real. And like, I mean, honestly, like, we've talked about this before, but I honestly think Klopp is gone after that 1 year is done. Like, I don't
Oh
see
yeah,
them offering him a contract. I think I don't know if he'll want to leave necessarily, but I just think the era is going to come to an end because, whether they win it or not, like the Premier League, I don't see them getting him. And like you said before, I just think it's set up for Jared to take that spot,
yeah,
whether Klopp's done.
yeah. I definitely think Jared will go in and take over, but I would like to see Klopp in a new system, a new challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe uh, it would be kind of cool to maybe see him go to Real Madrid
Yeah.
or something. I know they have Ancelotti and he's doing good right now, but um, Jurgen Klopp at Madrid, or maybe he can try and do something with PSG. I don't know how many people in the game really want to go there right now and take over that team just because you can tell there's so many problems just
Yeah.
from the outside looking in, and I'm sure it just gets worse when you get there. So, uh, but it would be cool to see him in another challenge. I don't think he'll stay in the Premier League. I think he will probably go. I think a team like Real Madrid would definitely be interested because he's obviously a quality manager, one of the best in the world. So, yeah, what do you thought? What do you think he should do?
Yeah, so like I have a big shout and like I'm hoping, it will benefit us because of what I'm about to say. But do you think there's any chance he takes on the challenge of the MLS after it's Liverpool and maybe Toronto FC in a year or so?
Um, yeah, no, like I don't think he's gonna do an Insigne. Uh, but yeah, I think maybe later in his career. I just think he's obviously like at the top of his game right now, and showing that he's a world class manager. So I think he has some higher aspirations than TFC.
But imagine the scenes if he gets a call from David Beckham and Beck's like, yo, why don't you be the manager of Inter Miami for like the next 3 years? He's a 3-year contract. It's like the biggest contract in MLS history for a manager. That could be something. I don't think it'll happen now. It'll probably happen later.
Like I know money is money, but I feel like Klopp loves the game too much. Like
Yeah.
Maybe he'd go back to Germany. I feel like he has too much of a love for Dortmund to be the Bayern manager. But maybe go back to Dortmund even. I don't know, maybe something like that.
Do a final last dance with Marco Reus. That would be pretty cool.
That guy's been there for so long, man. Holy. But yeah, we touched on it quickly. If you guys didn't know, because we are Baud Fawk, we are Canadians. So a little bit of TFC news. Lorenzo Insigne is going to TFC, I think for reported like 60 mil or something.
Yeah, and I think it's 60 million euros. So, and I don't even know if that is in like Canadian dollars, but that's a lot of money. I'm excited though, man. Like I'm really excited for this transfer.
Well, last time TFC had a short Italian, they won it all, and and he was killing it. Giovinco was an absolute beast in the MLS. In the Serie A, nothing special, but in the MLS he killed it. And so if he can go there and absolutely destroy the league, think about what Insigne can do, because he's genuinely like a really good player. Like this is kind of whack because he's actually like dude, you could go to a good team and like what are you doing? But maybe he just wants to take his talents to Canada.
It's actually crazy to think about because I saw this one Twitter post about it, or tweet I should say. They're like, you guys realize that Insigne can actually play for like a top 5 team in the Premier League right now? And I was like, yeah, like that's crazy to think about. He's only 30 years old, so it's not like he's like 35. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like I'm just ecstatic that it's to Toronto FC because I never thought this would ever happen.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get Insigne to Toronto FC? Like I have no idea. And it'll be crazy because I know that shirt's gonna sell so fast. I know it'll attract like the Italian crowd that we have here in Ontario. Like I know the seat sales will go up, and I think like we're serious. I think we got to win that MLS Cup once again. Like I think it has to happen soon.
Yeah, well, it's making me want to actually watch TFC and be a fan of them again because I like Insigne. And it'll just be cool to see what he can do, and because I'm pretty sure he's going to torch the league.
Yeah.
Because you can see that he's a class player, like when he plays, and he does try some crazy things. But now that he's going to be coming up against MLS defenders, he can do almost anything he wants.
And like it's going to be crazy to see because majority with like some players, they have like a good international tournament and then they get like a big move. If Italy make the World Cup and he like turns up in the World Cup, his big move will be Toronto FC. So like I'm so happy. So I'm ecstatic, man. Like we have some decent players. Like Pozuelo, he's like pretty good. He's kind of. So I'm excited to see them link up. I don't follow TFC that heavily, so I don't know what Altidore is saying. I don't even know if he's still on the team, to be honest. I don't know if he's leaving, but
yeah, I don't
if he's still there, then that's like a good little trio to have. So I'm really excited for this move. And another report that we saw, I don't know if it's true, but apparently Toronto FC won Andrea Bellotti as well.
Yeah,
he's gonna be on a free. Imagine the scenes, bro, if they get Bellotti and Insigne. Like that would be insane.
I feel like Bellotti won't happen because he is younger. I do think because he can play. He's playing in the Serie A right now, and he can still get like a bigger move. I think from Torino. So I don't think that'll happen. But kind of cool to see them go after a bunch of Italians. Replace Giovinco now. I know it's a little late, but. Yeah, like I thought that was crazy to see, and I'm definitely excited to see Insigne torch it up there. But yeah, let's go back to the Premier League because MLS is all fun and games, but it's not really what we're here to talk about. Arsenal, dominate, absolutely destroy a huge team in 20th place Norwich.
Oh my God, man. I mean, like of course, Arsenal are going to go out there and look like prime 2011 Barcelona against Norwich. You know, it's a massive game between two title contending teams, clearly. But yeah, like in all seriousness, like I'm not surprised that Arsenal did bits. You know, it is Norwich, and Arsenal tend to do good against like the really weak teams, hence
Yeah.
how we saw, you know, Norwich. So I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts on that Arsenal performance?
Like they did what they're supposed to do. So I can't hate on it. Beating Norwich 5-0. I know it is Norwich, but you won 5-0. Like that's probably everything you can ask for. So Arsenal are playing in good form right now, but they're just so shaky. Like they can play like 3 games and absolutely destroy them. And then the next game, like they'll get destroyed and they won't look good at all. So they're just very up and down, very inconsistent. So none of this like means a lot to me. I know Arsenal fans are going crazy right now because Saka is looking really good again, and Smith Rowe is Smith Rowe. You know, however we feel about him, he is performing at a pretty good level. Martinelli is back and playing good, so they're all going crazy down at Arsenal. But at the end of the day, it is Norwich, so good job. But like, let's see you do this against a big team now, because they beat all these garbage teams, and then they go and lose to the big teams. So show us you can compete with the big boys. Then like let's see, because they've had a pretty easy schedule this season.
Yeah, I feel like you said, we can't hate on a team for winning a game. It's like what do you want us to do? Like want them to lose? But they do beat the small teams, clearly. They went on that impressive 8-game unbeaten run. I feel like it was all against like bottom 15 clubs, like 15th and below. But like, yeah, like you said, they've lost to Chelsea, they've lost to Man United. I think they lost to City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They lost to Chelsea and Liverpool. So it's like, I feel like they're just benefiting off of like these 3 points. And granted, you got to win these games, but like they're just nothing special yet, in the sense where it's like, United in shambles beat them 3-1. I'm not counting Smith Rowe's goal. So we beat them 3-1. You guys on opening day, I forget what the score is off the top of my head. And then Liverpool beat them 3-0. So it's like
Ours wasn't opening day. Their opening day game was against Brentford, which they
oh
lost.
yes,
2-0.
yes, yeah. It was and
And
then
then I think they lost to Man City, and then we
Chelsea.
played them, and
Yeah,
then
that's what it was.
Lukaku just absolutely destroyed them.
Yeah.
So
it's like
and
that.
we know some Arsenal fans who like to go crazy about their players and have actually disrespected Lukaku, but I do think that just comes down to you're just sad that he destroyed you, and looks like he's back in form now. He scored again. We are playing right now against Brighton, scored again, so definitely happy to see him back. But yeah, like I think they just overreact to all their players playing good. They started going on like best youngsters in the world, and then they go and get dominated to a big team, and then everyone's like, oh, like this team sucks and I hate Arsenal. And then they win again and oh, everything's good. So it's a very reactionary fan base.
Yeah, it's just weird because I don't want to be like just some Arsenal hater, because they do have some, good points. Like Odegaard's been playing pretty good recently, the guys you mentioned too. But I just think they're too young for me to take them seriously for the reasons that we said, because like United in shambles beat them 3-1. Chelsea dominated them. City dominated them. Liverpool won 3-0 recently. So it's like, until I see, like, if they beat United, I would be like, yeah, you know what? Okay, hats off. They actually can compete, even though we were in shambles. That's a good result. But they couldn't even do that. And we have such a horrible, for whatever reason, a horrible record at Old Trafford, and we still beat them. I didn't think we were ever going to lose. It's a very entertaining game, though, to be fair. But yeah, I'm just not sold on them this season. And I just think next year they'll make a jump. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't really see this Arsenal team doing anything, in all honesty. And they're not even in Europe too. So that's like a big boost. Like, I don't care what anyone says. If you're not playing European football, you just have an advantage in the league.
Yeah.
That's also
for sure.
them. So, it's similar to that Invincibles team when they went out in all those competitions. Like, they're just only focusing on the league. So if they weren't winning these games, then I'd be like, yo, what are you guys doing? But they're just doing what they're supposed to. So, I mean, hats off to them, but I'm just not going to take them seriously as like a top contender.
Yeah, I agree. Because not having to play midweek, or like especially in Champions League, like at the end of the day, like even Europa League and the Conference League, like those games also will take. But at the end of the day, you're never going to care about a competition like the Champions League.
Yeah.
Europa League and Conference League are well, Europa League is cool. Conference League is a joke, but like like that's whatever. But if you have a Champions League match, then you're putting effort into that. You know what I mean? So these teams that are struggling, that are in Champions League, I'm going to give them a lot more leeway and not going to go on them too hard because you got bigger things to worry about sometimes, and playing that extra game, it wears down your players, and they're putting their all into those Champions League matches, especially if you have aspirations to win. So like us, like when we play Champions League games, like we're putting out our best lineup, we're giving it our all. You guys, same thing. You guys, clearly want to do well in that competition now that you have the best Champions League player of all time, and Bruno has been killing it in the Champions League. So it looks like you guys are pushing for the Champions League. So I'm a little more willing to cut you guys some slack with some struggles in the league. But Arsenal, like you said, like they don't have anything else to focus on. So you should be winning these games and convincingly, because you should be giving it your all. Like this Premier League season should be all or nothing, as someone might want to say. I'm excited for that. I'm so excited.
It's going to be an amazing documentary. But one thing about Arsenal that I will give them credit for is this whole bombing situation. I saw a video on this too. And I honestly think that this whole bombing situation has made them better because, we'll touch on the Lacazette in a bit as well. But I think that the bombing era has to come to an end. And, whether, you hate to see it come to an end like this because, he's got banned from the team now, he's not a captain anymore. But it's like, I feel like similar to Leicester City with Rodgers, I feel like if Arsenal want to move forward, there had to be one person that had to, be, I guess, the scapegoat. And it was never going to be Arteta, clearly, because he's still there. So I think, now that that's bombing, I feel like this is a new Arsenal time period / era. And whether it's a new striker that comes in or they keep playing it like this or just playing Ketia, I think that's good because they don't need someone like a bombing taking up 350K a week to just go out to Barcelona and get a tattoo and be late to training and post on social media and not actually score goals. So I think that is something, kudos to them for shutting a bombing down.
Yeah, I think he needs to go. And I think at this point, I've been calling for this for a couple of years now. I've been waiting. I think Lacazette should go as well. Like, I think they had the right idea in signing both of them. Like, they were both good players before they went there, but it just seems like their mentality it's just not there really for this team, and maybe just not for Arteta. So I do think in either January or summer, both of them should be sold, and they should look to, like, Nketiah is good, but if you have aspirations to really pursue trophies, I just don't think he's ready. So I think they should bring in a striker, and Arteta's recruitment looks decent. Like, he looks like he can find some hidden gems. For decent prices. So I do think they should bring in a striker. I'm not sure exactly who. Maybe they would want to go Premier League proven, go for someone like Ivan Toney or something. I know he's not Premier League proven and he's not having the best season, but he does like some good stuff for the team, good hold up play, good link up play. His goal record isn't amazing this year, nothing like his championship run, but I think someone like him could be a good suitor for them, or maybe Iheanacho on Leicester. They should look for a striker, maybe bring in someone from another league like Morales, or I don't know, someone. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on Ivan Toney quickly. I actually think he would be the perfect player in the sense where they don't need goals from a striker because we've seen, Smith Rowe, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, like that little core is actually scoring goals. And, like you just said, Tony's goal record hasn't been amazing, but off the ball, he's been, like, in my opinion, he's been class for them off the ball. Yeah. Hold up play, creating space, making runs. So I think he would actually be a decent player for them. But if they were going to go abroad now, I think the only person who wouldn't agree to this is the player himself, but I think Vlahovic has been killing it. And, he's a player he probably has big aspirations for himself. And I think, we saw Arsenal do it with Aubameyang. I didn't think Aubameyang would ever choose Arsenal over someone like Chelsea because you guys were linked to him, even, other clubs outside. But I think
we decided to go for Giroud instead.
yeah. So
I
yeah.
think we won. I think we won that deal though,
Yeah.
because Giroud helped us win Champions League and Europa League against Arsenal.
But yeah, of course it was against Arsenal. Like, that's so unlucky. But yeah, in all seriousness, I think Vlahovic, similar to when Holland left Salzburg, he's someone who they gotta get strike while the iron's hot. I feel like Dortmund just won the race because everyone wanted Holland, but how did Dortmund get him? I don't know. But they were just clearly in advanced talks. They were just ahead. So I think if they want to make a move, they should have already inquired about Vlahovic. I think they did. I don't know if that's true or not. So if that is true, then that's good on them. But I think he would be the perfect striker to get. He's young.
I just hope he has bigger aspirations in a club like Arsenal.
Yeah, but I mean, if they bring him in, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Vlahovic, Saka, they got some decent midfielders too. Lukonga hasn't been the best, but we've seen him, be good at times. So he's still there. Odegaard did actually sign for them. Their defense, Tomiyasu's been good. Nuno Tavares has been okay. Benjamin White's been, pretty good. I can't lie. And then Ramsdale, whatever you think about him, he's only 30 million. So it wasn't a horrible signing at all. He's been pretty good for them too. So they do have something going on. And I think it's without Aubameyang and Lacazette for sure.
Yeah, I think Arsenal probably have the most dead wood to drop off in the coming transfer windows. They've had dead wood for years now. I know they got rid of some last, David Luiz, and Willian is now gone. Which actually Willian was one of their best creators. He created the second most chances on their team last season.
Yeah,
they all want to go on he was absolutely trash. But he was a good chance creator. That's why he kept getting game time. But so they've gotten rid of some. I do think they still have some people to get rid of. I think at this point, if Ramsdale is the number one, sell Leno, because he's good enough. He's good enough to play on another team. He's not a backup. That's kind of unfair to him, because I always thought he was one of their better players.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I want to touch on Leno quickly. Yeah, and maybe this goes back to what we just talked about. Maybe I don't know how old Leno is actually, so I might be wrong, but maybe Leicester.
He's in his prime.
Yeah, maybe Leicester could go for Leno instead, because he would definitely be cheaper than both Meslier and Lafont, to be mentioned, because they are starters. So that could be a signing for Leicester that they could make actually.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a really good point. Yeah. But yeah, I just think he needs to get out of there, even if he goes back to the Bundesliga or abroad somewhere else. I think he's good enough to start on a decent team. So if Ramsdale's the number one, he's got to go. And then you have some other play. It looks like Tierney is out of favor with Arteta.
Well, that's so weird, because
and he's quality. We know he's quality. So
he has for years, even though it was just Celtic. But he was a player that if you watched him play at Celtic, you could just tell, okay, if he goes to a good league, he'll actually do good. And he was pretty good. According to Arsenal fans, he was the best left back in the league. So sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. But in all seriousness, he is a quality player too, like you said. So he definitely could, move abroad, get somewhere else, get some good playing time.
Yeah, he should go if he's not going to get the playing time, because he's a very quality player. I wouldn't say best left back in the league, but he's definitely top 5 when healthy. So I think he should go. Maybe if he wants to come to Chelsea, we are looking for a fullback right now. So he should maybe look to go. And then they have some other players that some Arsenal fans still may like him, but I'm pretty sure the majority absolutely hate Xhaka, and he just has to go. So they have a couple players that they need to get rid of, and a couple pieces that they need to get, but it looks like they're on the right path.
Yeah,
as a team.
Yeah, so they could get right back into that 4th place position. I'm really excited for that.
I think for that to truly happen, for them to be a perennial Champions League qualifying team, they need to do one thing, and that is bring Wenger back.
Bro, I know we've said this before on our own, but I genuinely think if Wenger had some of these teams that Emery and Arteta inherited, he would actually like be certified top four and would probably, at least with some of the, when Aubameyang's in his prime, he might have just won the league with that team. Because we saw that dude go top four with these absolute scrubs. Then you get Unai Emery, inheriting such a great team, getting some decent investment, and then just plummeting and losing to Chelsea in the Europa League final. No discredit to Chelsea, but if Wenger was there, it would have been a masterclass 3-0 result, Europa League back at Arsenal. But
I feel like you'd get the best out of players like Pepe, and Partey, and I feel like you would just get the best out of the team, like it just as a whole. I know certain players have thrived under Arteta, but we know what Wenger can do. He's one of the best in Premier League history. We can all agree, definitely top 3. So, obviously that's not going to happen, but if they really want to contend, then Wenger back. That's what has to happen.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the actual best team in London, Chelsea.
Palace. Oh, Chelsea. Sorry.
Okay. So Chelsea beat Aston Villa 3-1. This was our second time playing them in the league. Seems like Lukaku likes to score against them because he scored our winning goal. It was a nice header. Cho with a beautiful cross in, good assist. And Cho has been killing it for Chelsea. I think he, I don't know how many exact assists he has so far in the league, but he's been our best chance creator over this whole season. So he's been playing great. And Lukaku's winner was nice to see. We want to see him back in form, obviously. And then he overall just had like a really good game. 1 goal, and then he won us the penalty later on. Absolutely just destroyed Target, like just muscled him off like a little baby. And he's fast for a big guy. Like he is very fast. So he ran straight through Konsa with a slide tackle from behind. Now, I thought, how did he not get a red? But I guess the rules have been changed. If it's a penalty, they don't give a red. But like that must be one of the clearest reds I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. So it was like a last ditch FIFA challenge, It's like, oh no, I'm gonna go out in weekend league. Let me just slide tackle. And yeah, honestly, I didn't even know about this rule change. That might be bad. My bad, everyone that I know about this. But yeah, that's like crazy to think about because I know we talked about that yesterday. Yeah, like the fact that there's no red card in that, because like thankfully he didn't get injured. Like what if Lukaku broke his leg? Just no red card. It's like what? It's like that makes no sense to me. But yeah, I mean, Lukaku, we know what he's capable of. He was, pretty sure, Serie A MVP last year, like we said before. So he led into a league title, was amazing. And hopefully he could carry out that form for Chelsea for himself, because there has been times, granted he has been injured, where it's like, oh, maybe he's not the guy. But, against Aston Villa, though, he really did perform. And, we did talk about this. I just think he should have been able to take that penalty. That was all his own work. He deserved it. But then I guess Jorginho stepped up and scored.
Yeah, like the thing is, like Lukaku is really good at pens. It's just like we have like a pen hierarchy at Chelsea right now. Like obviously if Jorginho isn't there, then Lukaku is going to take them. But Jorginho is just our pen guy. Like we trust him, and he comes up big for us in every moment. People are, I've been seeing some posts and people complaining about the amount of pens that we've got, but genuinely, if you watch the clips, like if you don't watch the games or anything, then I can understand like, oh, like that's a lot of penalties in like the last like 3 games or whatever. But if you watch they were all just penalties. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Like there's really not much I can do. It's not like the ref is just handing us penalties. We're getting fouled in the box. There's not much I can say about that. Like we're not just getting free goals because the refs want to give us them, like that Lukaku one, like that's just that's a blatant penalty. So
horrible tackle, honestly.
Yeah,
like it could have been an ankle breaker. Like it was horrible.
Especially like he's just coming back from injury and he's struggling to get back to full fitness. So like of anyone on the team to suffer a tackle like that to get like absolutely destroyed, I would have rathered anyone on the team to suffer that tackle, and it had to be Lukaku. But I think he's okay. He should be fine. We can't really afford another player to go back down with injury, so that was definitely scary to watch. But yeah, Jorginho is just He's cold as ice, man, from the spot. For Chelsea. For Italy, different story. I do think maybe a different pen taker should be selected for Italy, but for Chelsea, he's cold. So I understand why they gave it to Jorginho. Would have been cool to give it to Lukaku, get him another goal. He clearly deserved it. I do think he would have scored if he didn't get tackled because I don't know. He can score against Villa. He scored earlier in that game, earlier on in the season when we played them. He scored when he made Tuanzebe fall and smashed it with his right foot. So yeah, that was nice. Definitely nice to see him back and fit and healthy. Like we said earlier, he did score against Brighton. Mason Mount assist, and I did want to say quickly, like it looks like Mason Mount might get Player of the Month for December because he's been on an absolute tear. Like he's been our best player, and he's definitely been one of the best players in the league. So, got to give him his credit because even though we've been struggling as a team, Mason Mount has been looking world class, especially over the month of December.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, how would you feel if they gave it to either Smith or Martinelli over Mount?
That would be very annoying, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Because Mason Mount just gets disrespected. That's nothing new. Now that he's getting some more contributions, people are starting to like wake up and realize that Mason Mount is like that guy. But Mason Mount is not like he's not meant to be a contributions guy. You know what I mean? Like he does a lot of work for the team. That's not going to show up on the box score. So like just even some of I don't think he looked amazing against Aston Villa. It wasn't his best game, but some of the pressing work that he did, he won back the ball for us, just carrying it. Like even when it's not his best game, like he's still doing all the stuff we need him to do, pretty much. So people are starting to recognize, his talent this season again because the contributions, but he doesn't need contributions to help us. And now he's getting them. We are relying on him a lot right now. We shouldn't be, but now that Lukaku's back, hopefully we don't have to.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I liked his goal. I think it was West Ham. Yeah, that goal he scored, that little half volley, that was like a world-class goal, amazing setup. Yeah. So I've always rated Mount, as you know. I feel like people who do disrespect him, it just doesn't make any sense. But I'm always going to ride out for the English lad. So yeah, he's like a class player on his day.
Better than Phil Foden, no cap.
I can't lie. Like just for the lulz, I would love it if like Martinelli won Player of the Month, like just for the lulz. But yeah, Mason Mount definitely is a front runner for that award for sure. Him and Odegaard, just two young cams, they have been balling out this December, I will say.
Yeah, for sure. They're looking pretty good. I mean, Arsenal as a team, I guess you could say maybe look better over the month of December. Because we've had our struggles this month, but we're ending the month on a strong note.
Yeah.
We're definitely playing a lot better right now. And I think we're going to continue doing this through January because I do think we're going to get a left wing back. We should definitely, talk about some of the targets quickly. I know we did talk about Theo Hernandez and Digne before. I did mention Tierney is looking for a spot. So we're looking because if you guys didn't know, Ben Chilwell has been confirmed to be out for the rest of the season. He's getting surgery, so prayers up to my guy Chile.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, like definitely sad to see him go. Even if you're a rival fan, like you don't wish to see that on anyone. Like you missing a whole season, it's definitely sad. And he was playing at top form before he went down, so it is a big loss for us. We can't not get a fullback this January transfer window. Like that is top priority. We have to get one because Marcus Alonso just he can't be the regular starter. He's just not he's not that guy. Not anymore. It's not 2017. So yeah, we definitely need a wing back. There are some targets that we have already talked about, but now that Chile's gone, like it's certified that we're getting someone. So I think it's going to be Digne, but Tuchel really wants Hernandez.
Yeah, I mean, Hernandez will be a bigger pull, definitely in the sense of cost. I don't really see AC Milan getting rid of him in January unless they get the right price. Like I'm not going to call it an overpay, but Chelsea would definitely have to splash the cash if they want Hernandez. But Digne is out of favored, at Everton. I don't know how, because, you know, he's a class player. So I just think that's the smart move. I wouldn't like, I just don't think it makes sense because Hernandez would probably cost, like, how much do you think he would cost you? I'm thinking like upwards of 70 mil, unless they make.
Yeah, I could see 70, 80 mil for Theo.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Yes, Chelsea do have, you know, the backing of Abramovich, but like to me, that doesn't make sense to do in January unless it's like, you know, all hands on deck. Like if Digne is not an option, then sure, like so be it. But I just don't see Milan getting rid of him like at all.
Yeah, I don't see it either, but they do want him, and we do know Chelsea have the funds to do it. I'm hearing a reported. I don't think we're going to spend it all, but I think we have 170 million left over from the Champions League win because we only spent like I think like 100 mil in the summer. Not only, I know that's a lot of money, but we only spent it on Lukaku and a loan for Saul and then Marcus Bettinelli as our third string. So we have a lot of money left over. We're already a wealthy club, and then we had a huge influx of money from the Champions League. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we actually genuinely just went for Theo. But I think especially because it's halfway through the season and AC Milan are contending in Serie A, I don't think they're going to give him up. And if they would, it would be in the summer. But we are looking at maybe only a 6-month loan for Digne.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the summer go for a Theo or something if Chile isn't fully ready, and even just to have some competition in the squad, like it's good. So yeah, we're definitely going to get someone in January.
Yeah, I think someone, you know, I've always rated this player, and I don't know what your thoughts on him, but I think Tagliafico from Ajax. I think he's someone probably could have got a move out of Ajax like years ago now. And funny enough, Arsenal were linked to Tagliafico, but
I think he deserves a move, man. He's really good.
Yeah, so I don't know how you would like him in Chelsea's system, but like he's just the top left back in my opinion. So I think if he was available, like I think I would make a move for him.
Yeah, that's a good shout for sure. I haven't heard any rumors about being linked to him, but definitely a good shout. I think we're even interested in Renan Lodi from Atletico, which I think is also a good shout, but I think that's even that's just also not likely, just like Theo. But yeah, like Luca Digne, if we can get him, like that's perfectly fine because we've seen him be like a top 5 left back or left wing back in the league, and he's quality for France as well. So the fact that Rafa doesn't play him is like shocking and stupid to me. So thanks. If you don't want him, we'll take him. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to Manchester United, who just recently tied against. I'm pretty sure 19th place Newcastle.
Yes, massive.
So this is your domain, man. Like, let me hear some of your thoughts.
I mean, I just think the first thing, and I'm not gonna sound like Klopp and make an excuse, but I just think that the 2.5 weeks of no game time and, you know, fluctuated training, so COVID, I think it really showed in that game. The players didn't look like they're, you know, ready. We just looked off a step. And, you know, St. James's Park was electric the whole game, you know, give it to them. You know, Newcastle looked like they wanted that victory. You know, De Gea was world class. He really saved us that game. So like, it's a bad result because, you know, you don't want to go into any relegation team stadium and look like you're the relegation team and, you know, look like we're fighting for it. And, you know, De Gea having to bail us out once again, you know, was horrible to see. But I definitely think that, you know, I'm not going to call it jitters, but like the lack of, you know, we just looked rusty. And, you know, it's kind of annoying because I'm not going to say, oh, like we should control the pandemic. Like you can't control COVID, but it's just unfortunate that it's like, damn, like, you know, 2.5 weeks without playing. And, you know, it felt like there was no urgency. Like, I feel like they owed it to the fans to go out there and put on like a 5-goal performance against Newcastle, but it wasn't there. I think I hate to say it because we have been praising him, but Fred didn't have a good game. You know, Fred and McTominay. I feel like the COVID break really messed them up because they were looking good together, and then now it's back to old McTominay and Fred. So that wasn't a good look, and that was really the issue the whole game. Like, I don't want to make them out as the scapegoats, but we just didn't have players that could play the ball forward to the front 4, front 3, whatever you want to call it. I thought second half was much better because we brought on Sancho and then we dropped Bruno back a bit, and then he was starting to create. Sancho was looking pretty lively. He was one thing I mentioned to you before is that Sancho on the right will attack defenders, doesn't matter who it is, and he was in attack mode. He was making some good chances. Cavani ended up scoring off of a good chance we created, where I think it was Dalot who got up the pitch and whipped it in, but it's just a bad result because I think we owed it to the fans because they haven't been playing for a long time. Oh wait, did Brighton score?
Yes, in the 91st minute.
No way.
Danny Welbeck.
Oh
my god.
Former United lad has done. Wow. I'm so sorry that this is a live reaction on Baud Fawk of the Danny Welbeck goal.
That's so depressing. Man.
Let's just take a quick break here. So yeah, did you see how it happened or?
No.
Okay, let's just take a pause here, boys. So yeah, man, Chelsea, let's drop points, against Brighton. What are we feeling right now?
Sadness. Definitely not happy. Definitely want to get this episode over as fast as possible now. That's very frustrating. We're 1-0 up since the 28th minute. And now we're only going to get 1 point out of this. After Liverpool just dropped points, this was our chance to overtake them, and we messed it up. So, great.
Yeah, that's very unlucky for the Blues. But back to more depressing stuff here on Baud Fawk, Manchester United. But yeah, honestly, I think that we have been talking about transfers, but it just sucks because Paul Pogba not being in this team, it really showed yesterday because in the past, it's been like, okay, maybe we can't score, but at least we have someone that could, string in those passes. We didn't have anyone. And Pogba is that guy to string in those balls to likes of, Rashford. We've seen the link up with Rashford numerous times over the years. And, Sancho was looking like that guy, but it was just too little too late. And I'm not going to people have been pointing the finger at Ralph, but I'm not because the system that he has is class. Like it works. But I just think that, the urgency of Fred and McTominay, we can't rely on them to win games. And they were the two.
I think his system doesn't fit a lot of your players, especially someone like Pogba. Rangnick's system doesn't really fit him, so he's not even playing right now. And I think someone like Pogba has to play for Man United. You guys need that creation from deeper spots. You can't rely on just Bruno. So I don't know. If he's not going to play Pogba, then I think Pogba has to get out, man. He has to go as soon as possible.
I think I think he actually got a knock. I don't think he was available for selection. I think he's been injured for a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's why. Because Ralph did talk about Pogba when he first came in. He was like, "Yeah, no, he's a player that we definitely want to have." So he's like, when he could get fit. So I think that there's some fitness issue going on with him. Same with Varane, as we knew before, but then Varane came back. But yeah, I don't really know what to make of it until Pogba actually gets into the team. But oh man, it just sucks because I feel like, again, I don't want to use some Klopp excuse, but I feel like that little 2.5 week break really came at the worst time because players like McTominay and Fred were looking good in the system. And, granted, we've only averaged 1 goal a game under Rangnick, but we did have 2 clean sheets in the Prem, and I heard a stat that no Premier League manager has ever started off their career with 3 consecutive 1-0 results. So, I mean, we've only conceded 1 goal in 3 games under him in the system. So I'm not going to say the defense has been bad because, we did make 1 mistake with Varane, but, that little defense and that midfield 2 in front of them has, been good. Only if we're only going to concede 1 goal every 3 games, then I'll take
it's just you're conceding against Newcastle. These are the fact that that's the kind of team that's scoring against you. And it wasn't even that they just scored. It was that they looked better. They looked better than Man U that game. So De Gea had to bail you out a couple times. I think that's not a great sign. Yeah. But yeah, the whole COVID break and then the 2 weeks, that's going to hurt any team not being able to play and be game fit. So I don't think it's a huge worry, but again, it is Newcastle. You shouldn't look worse. And even with everything going wrong and all this time off, at the end of the day, I expect Manchester United to go out there and look at least that they're better than Newcastle. If they get a 1-1, but they looked like in control, and Newcastle pull it out out of nowhere, then okay, fair enough. But the fact that it looked almost like the opposite, that's not what you want to see.
And I'm looking forward to our next game because I think Ralph, I think he's going to change it up in terms of players because he was very angry after the game, and I don't really see him doing an ollie and just complain and then play the same team. So I think maybe Donny will get in. I think Matic will play next game. I'm not too sure about Pogba's fitness, so we'll just not include him. I definitely think Sancho will get the start the next game. Same with probably Greenwood over Rashford. I could see him changing it up.
Well, Rashford hasn't been great recently.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I could definitely see Greenwood taking a spot for the next game. Tallis has been decent, but I think Shaw will return to the lineup next game. Dalot's been pretty good. I can't lie.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
So I'm happy. I'm happy to see him finally get some minutes. And he's
making. You've always said he's like a really good player. So
yeah, so I'm really happy that he's getting in there. I love Wan-Bissaka, but I feel like because of his slow start, Dalot actually played him out of the team. So I think until we see something where it's like Dalot has to go, then let's just keep him in here for now. Yeah, I mean, I just think in the window we should get a midfielder that's just better than Fred and McTominay for that role. Like we just need a CDM, like it has been known, and we need someone who's going to run around and press. Because granted, Fred could do that, but I just think his ability on the ball is what lets him down, because we need someone who doesn't give the ball away the most every game. And the commentator made a good point. He was like, Fred gives, granted he has the work rate, but he loses the ball the most out of anyone on the team, which is true. So it's like we just need someone who's gonna like kind of like an Ndidi, we need someone who's gonna run around and just
be thankful, because at least he has the work rate. He could just be like Saul and lose the ball all the time and not have the work rate. So he's just completely useless.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, we're going to need someone who's going to, fit into the press, going to run around for 90 minutes and, produce on the ball. And
you guys need someone like Conte.
Yeah. If only we could just trade Fred for Conte. That would be a great deal for us. I think you guys...
that would get Pogba playing like himself again as well. I still think Pogba needs to lead though.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Pogba does because, I obviously want him on the team, but I think it'll depend. His future really depends on the next manager, I feel like, because with someone like, Mourinho, he kind of fell out with him towards the end. But then when Ole came in, he's like, bro, we need this guy in the team. And that's why Pogba was, the team was kind of built around him. And then we got Bruno in there. They're like, that's a very good duo to have, is Bruno and Pogba. We've seen them play together at a very elite level. But if the next manager feels like he doesn't need Pogba, then I love Pogba, but then it's like, okay, maybe we got to move on, because it's like, I don't want to,
I think he needs a change of scenery. I think, whether that's PSG or I've heard rumored interest before. I don't know if it's still actually going to happen, but Real Madrid or just back to Juventus or somewhere else. I just think he needs a change of scenery. I'd love him at Chelsea if he wants to come to Chelsea. We've seen what him and Conte can do in a midfield for France. So I love him at Chelsea. I don't think that's going to happen, but I still think even with a new manager, I just think he's been there for so long and it just hasn't worked out. I think the best thing for Pogba, maybe not Manchester United, but for Pogba is to leave. And I love Pogba. So I would love to see him go somewhere else and where he can show his true talents.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this season for us has to be like a Chelsea type beat last year. I think we've seen a focus on that Champions League. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say we're the front runners to win it, but we've talked about this before. Like we have Ronaldo, he's Mr. Champions League. And I think if we have a fully fit squad for the Champions League, then we are a deadly team. Like if Pogba was able to come back, we'll have Bruno, who's been immense in the Champions League. Don't got to talk about Ronaldo. If Sancho and Rashford, step it up. Well, mainly Rashford, because I have been, pretty impressed with Sancho. I feel like if we somehow make a push and actually win that competition, then that would be really good to see. But in terms of the league, we're 19 points back from City at January. I don't see us winning the league this year, sadly, but I definitely think that we just need to with Chelsea and, still compete, get top four, whether it's on the last week of the season or whatever, but just got to, push for that Champions League trophy. And I think we do have the team to do it. It's just a matter of are we going to play up to the standards that is the club? And that's yet to be seen because, we're drawing Newcastle, Manchester United doesn't do that. So it'll definitely be a big test for the Champions League, but I definitely think that that's where our season should head.
Yeah, I completely agree. I definitely think focusing on the Champions League is the best bet for Manchester United, especially with how the way the season has gone for them so far. Um, but yeah, I think that's good. I think we should end it there. Good.
Yeah, no, it was a very, very good episode. Sad ending because Chelsea have just conceded.
Oh man, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, but hey, man, yeah, this was very fun. Happy to be back to the Bauds, and everyone at home. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you everyone who made it this far, and yeah, like usual, our social medias are in the description, so go check that out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, see you, Bods.